The Lord Provost o' Lard's fair toon sat in his chambers wi' a worried frown, and the reason why you'll understand, he had pressing business on his horn. The news that made his Scotch blood boil was that Haco of Norway had landed on Arran's fair isle, and on to Lards he would be swimming to kill the men and rape the women. That was bad enough, nae doubt, but it would be worse the other way about. So he gathered all his counsellors all together for a real old-fashioned blether to make up plans by him directed to have Haco and his gang dissected and the good bits flung to the fishes, though this was against the lass's wishes. Is there a man to lead our clan who could make up some daring plan? A man looked up to by the population, and preferably a member of the corporation. Is there a man who'll take on the job? And the counsellors all cried, get Big Tall Bob. Big Tall Bob came to the fore. In his Sunday socks he stood 6'4". Here was a man no easy scairt, and he worked on the borough midden caird. Now Bobby didn't rack his brain, his plan was simple, neat and plain. Tak all the sand fae off the shore, and put down chalky stains galore, for the Viking ships are getting thin, and the stains will knock their bottoms in. So every man jacked wi' barras and buggies, took awa the sand, and brought back chuckies, without a thought or worry or care for what the wains were going to do at the fair. So they worked all day and all night through, till the Viking ships came into view. Their stripped sails blowing in the breeze, they seemed to drift along with ease. They really looked a wondrous sight. Is it no a pity we had to fight? The provost said, we're in a rut, and cried out loud, the pubs are shut. This decision was really sad, for it made the men all fighting mad. So Bobby gathered up his army in a cluster, with every weapon he could muster. The men in front with knives and sticks, and the lasses behind just to loup a few bricks. The Vikings landed on the Steny shore, their numbers not many more than a score, but each one looked a man to be feared, wi' a big broad chest and a face full of beard. Their swords and their shields all battle hacks, their simmets fermenting on their backs. What they wore, they either stole it or fun it, and the horns of a coo sticking out their bonnet. But the brave men of Largs never hesitated to have those intruders eliminated. But they stood no chance against those grim men of war. Their ranks were soon broken and scattered afore. The only thing left between the Vikings and the toon were the lasses o' Largs quickly gathering round. The thing on their minds, from housewife to tart, was to find out when the atrocities would start. Not that they had any cause for complaint, but they needed some time to put on their powder and paint. So they sent all Haco an emissary, a local worthy, by the name o' Mary. She had one eye, one tooth, and a treble chin, and her body came out where it should have gone in. All Haco sent for his expert in rape, who took one look at Mary and yelled, escape! And they turned and they ran and they fell down the beach, with only one thing in mind, to get out of reach. The lasses were amazed at this about face, but they soon realized, and they quickly gave chase. But alas, the poor souls were unlucky that day, for Haco and his gang got safely away. Bobby gathered up his scattered band, the remnants o' disaster. He helped to staunch their bloody wounds and their broken banes wi' plaster. And when his men had rallied round, those prophetic words he said, "Yon day they'll build a pencil here to show how we were led." The monument was duly raised, as you must surely know, so that the folks of Largs will know the debt that they owe. If the men of Largs hadn't rallied round to give those Vikings a shove, Largs today would be full of buxom blondes, all practising free love. We know there was a battle fought, but victory we did not win, for although we kept the Vikings out, we let the Italians in.